I've started having some very weird dreams in this world. After a busy day building or being out in the fields, when I go to rest my head, I'm being transported to some very odd places. Don't know what I'm doing there, but I do feel a pull towards an unknown end goal. The dreams always start the same way. In a barren wasteland, surrounded by lava and some very dead-looking creatures. Instantly I get the sense that this place is not safe, and I need to be careful as I make my way through it. Occasionally I encounter these fireball-shooting creatures. Most of the time I'm able to defeat them, but sometimes they catch me unawares. Whatever happens in the dream, the next time I enter the dream, we start again from the beginning and try to make more progress. As we venture deeper and deeper into these dreams, we come across more and more odd creatures and places. The trees from this turquoise forest are really beautiful and give me inspiration for builds, but we do need to keep our guard up as this place is home to some interesting creatures. One of the oddest are these slender, tall, purple creatures. Oddly human, but also very alien. It seems you always have to be careful around them, as they don't like being looked at. It was in one of these incidents that I found out that once defeated, they drop these orbs. And I suddenly had the urge to collect more and more of these orbs, but didn't really understand why. The burning wasteland and turquoise forests feel like they just keep going on and on. It seems to be a very barren place, but I'm also pulled towards some unknown goal. Just as I'm thinking there is no structures in this world, out of the fog I see a massive fortress. We need to be really careful when exploring this maze-like structure, as it is full of deadly creatures, though there might be some good loot within. Just as I am starting to feel very lost, I hear a noise off in the distance and decide to investigate it, for better or worse. As I'm working my way down the corridor towards this noise, it gets louder and louder. And then from behind a pillar, one of those fiery beasts appears and starts shooting at me. Turning to run and regather myself, I try once more. I did my best to fight off the fiery beast and jumping fireboxes, and just like those first slender creatures, these fire rod-based creatures also drop something when killed. These rods of fire seem to be oddly cool to the touch, and I knew that combining them with the orbs we'd collected before was why my dreams had brought me to this wasteland. After collecting some blaze rods, I was suddenly transported back to the overworld, or at least a dream variation of the overworld. It was an area that I'd never been before, but I decided that I would throw one of these orbs to see what happens. The orb flew off in a direction and pulled me along with it. Not knowing where I was heading, I decided to follow blindly. Eventually the orbs brought me to this jungle and dropped into the ground. After digging down following the orb's directions, I came out in another maze-like structure. This time built of stone, and just like the other one, very easy to get lost in, with what felt like unending corridors and dead ends. But as I came down one spiral staircase, I was confronted by a different type of portal. After fighting off some more odd mobs, I noticed that the frame already had some of the orbs I had in place. So, placing my extra orbs around the frame, the portal opened with a jump. Not knowing what was on the other side, I prepped myself for the worst and jumped through. Upon jumping through the portal, I find myself in a single platform in what appears to be another barren wasteland. The whole place is eerily quiet as I work my way up to the main part of the island. Large pillars of obsidian shoot up from the yellowish ground, reaching up as if scratching against the sky. This land seems to be home to these slender creatures from earlier. The island is full of them, and in the middle we find another weird portal-like structure. There is a flapping of wings, and I notice in the sky a terrible, dark form flying around atop the towers. It's at this point I realize I've been brought here to free this island from this beast. Taking aim first at some crystals atop of each tower, as these seem to be some sort of power source for the dragon. Once these are destroyed, I change my target to the dragon itself, aiming shot after shot while it's flying around. It does occasionally come down to perch on the middle, and at this point I dare to get close in, taking a few extra hits with my sword. But as quick as it started, it's all over, and I awake with a jump. My heart is racing after the last battle, and I know it was all a dream, but yet it felt oh so real. But now I'm home and awake. I can sit by the docks and regather myself from a stressful